Okay, hello everyone. So this is a part 2 of my tutorial in building your own inventory with codeless UI and SQL Server 2025. And this is an AI aided instruction. So I just have a few slides of what has been done. Previous um, part of this tutorial, I actually created a very big demo, and I noticed it was very big when I started um, doing the demo. So yeah, please watch the part one of this. So this is what we're trying to build. We have several section of the inventory: that's supplier, purchase return, supply client, suppliers, supplies, and then the customer, which is basically doing sales and sales return. And then we're doing inventory process like transfer and conversion and disposal. So I already did this. These are the transaction type, and then we have transactions. So we're gonna add the transaction here. It would be sales, or it could be in beginning inventory. It could be disposal. It could be whatever it is that we need. It could be sales return. So and then gonna add the transaction ID when it did happen, and then the transaction details, which contains the products that that's being that's being involved in that transaction. And then we're not adding an um, supplier here, um, because it could have sales, it could be whatever. Or yeah, yeah, we'll try to, I think we need to, oh, we have sales, we have disposal, purchase. So yeah, AI is not that reliable, so we are going to refine this as we go on. So we have transaction details, we have transaction ID, we have product ID, which is okay. And then what we need is the quantity, right? Oh, we're probably doing sales like 10, beginning inventory 20, but yeah, and then we can pull the unit price per product. So I think this is okay. But for sales, we need a quantity in the sales price, so we need to redesign that, right? Or we can only do the transactional processes here, and then we can have a separate table for purchase and sales. So which we can also do, but yeah, for now we're just going to capture the beginning inventory, how many items were there. And yeah, we'll just do the beginning inventory, how many items, and when that inventory was done, and what product. Right? That's what we're trying to capture for now. And then during the inventory, we could be disposing the product. So there could be a stale product that we want to dispose. But right now, we can get rid of sales and purchases. It will be probably on sales and sales details, and purchase and purchase details as we go on. Yep, this was totally designed by AI, and AI is not that perfect just yet. It can make your work easy, but it's not perfect. It's not going to replace human in any yeah, in any way. So this is if you have spare money, please, and this is helping you, you can donate to us, give me some money to buy coffee. And yeah, that's all for now, and let's go to the demo. So I'm using Access for this, and so far this is what I've done, and I can use this to navigate, and I can actually edit that. And then I can have the product data sheet also if I want to edit mass products. I can use data sheet for the product, and I have here like I can drop down and choose whatever it is and update the supplier. And the way you do that is you click on this one and you just add the combo box and then bind it to the supplier, just what I did in the first demo. And yep, so this is basically a combo box. uh yeah, it's a combo box, and it's this, yeah, that's the one. And I bind that to the suppliers. Anyway, we'll try to go that, and then I have here the suppliers, so I can do the suppliers for the transaction details. Is this? No, we're not done with that yet. This is the what we're going to repair. And yeah, I'll probably demo the how to make, because this is transaction type. Yeah, we don't want to see numbers there, right? That's type ID. Instead, we want the transaction. So that's, we gonna repeat the combo box again here, and then these are the transaction types, and we gonna add the transaction type. Um, Create a form, right? Form wizard, and we're gonna add transaction type. Hang on. I'm gonna create. I'm gonna create the. I'm gonna close that first. So create. I'm gonna create the datasheet for transaction types. And yep, save that. Okay, this datasheet, so we can see that in datasheet, right? So it's easier to edit here because you can just, you know, add. So these are the transaction type. We'll be choosing the beginning inventory first, and then disposal. So um because yep, so what we need to do is to create a transaction, and we have one transaction, is transaction number 2, and the transaction type is 13, which is the beginning inventory. Now we are going to add the transaction details, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and create the transaction details, and we're going to use AI to this is a very advanced lecture, I know. No one's passing my. Okay, we're gonna go to inventory 101. Just make sure we are using that database. New query. Okay. And then we're going to add transaction details so that we can demo. Add transaction details. Sample data. Use transaction ID 2, which is beginning inventory. Alright. Now what we want to do is to just uh, it's a sample data production. Okay, just populate the foreign key and beginning inventory, and then generate 30 sample records, because we're going to repair the table anyway. So again, the AI is not perfect, and anyway, it's not going to replace human skill. This cannot replace my skill in any way. So, and it is heavily dependent on me. So, I'm going to insert transaction details, transaction ID. We're going to use, oh no. Uh, okay, that's the transaction details. For the transaction ID, it's going to use transaction number 2, which is beginning inventory, and then we have the product ID, right, which is the products. That's the ID of the product, and then the beginning inventory, and then the created date. And then we're going to insert that. And why? Null column sales. Okay. We're going to we're gonna remove the sales in the transaction. Probably we're going to separate that. We can combine that here, but it needs more. I was trying to combine the sales and the rest of the transaction into one transaction and transaction details table. That's possible, but they have different attributes. So we're not going to do that right now um, because that's a violation of database design principle. So I was wrong my first time. We'll follow the entity design, okay? Okay, so we will have one entity for each one of these. We're going to have a sales and sales detail. We are going to purchase return. But what we can combine is the inventory process, which is the disposal and beginning inventory, which is almost the same. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. But yeah, we're designing. It's not perfect just yet. So we'll just go ahead in the transaction details. This is fun. Edit top 200 rows. Design. Okay. And we're gonna remove this. We're gonna remove sales. Well, we can just allow it. I was thinking I can put sales and then, yeah, but we have to have the sales price when you sell, and probably in the beginning inventory you can have the, no, it's in the product, which is the unit price. Well, we can probably have the price, unit price attribute, and then sales price or purchase price, whatever, or inventory price in here. Maybe we can go ahead with this design, but we'll just make this null, allow null, right, for now, because that's, now we can allow null for the for transaction ID. No, it has to have the transaction. We'll see where this is going, and then close that and save. And we're going to go ahead and enter our beginning inventory. Sample, what I did allow the following fields to enter null because they're optional. It could be whatever transaction that we are designing. So we're gonna execute this. And now we have beginning inventory transaction. And when we go to this form, let's go ahead to the now transaction type data share. Okay, so we're seeing that details, right? Product ID, it's not very friendly, so we can further customize this, right? So this is I'm gonna add this one is transaction types. I'm gonna add here a combo box, and I'm gonna add it here. I want the combo box to get value from okay, and I'm gonna add transaction type there, and add transaction name and transaction ID, and put next. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And then I'm gonna add the transaction type. Okay, so and then so when we go ahead and display that, everything here is beginning inventory for transaction ID number 2. That was done on this date. Okay, and gonna add you can actually choose that, right? And name this transaction type, right? And then here we can, I think this is a subform, right? So he's choosing a subform which is transaction one. So we can save that and go here. Transaction detail ID, that's okay. Transaction ID is all2, which is this one, which is the parent of the transaction, and then the products, and then he has this inventory, right? So that's the inventory for that particular item. And then we can add an inventory price so we can have, which is actually not needed because we have unit price in the product. And we can, yeah, probably see that. So, and so, yeah, we can, this is actually we can transaction type ID, which is we see that that's beginning inventory, and then we can add the product ID, or yeah, we can have a combo box here so that it could be uh yeah, why not, but why don't we do that? Okay. I'm gonna do a transaction detail. We're gonna do a transaction details data sheet. Okay, so we're gonna create and data sheet view of uh-oh. Why don't we create a blank one? Okay, and then we save this. No, 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 no. No, no. We're going to create more forms. I'm going to create a datasheet view, and it's not. No. Okay. I'm gonna create again, and this time I'm gonna use the form wizard, and I'm gonna add the transaction details, all of them, and click next. And then we want to do a datasheet, right? And I will click finish. Now we have the transaction type dataset, and what we're going to do here, because I don't want to see, that's okay, 1, 2, 3, and this is transaction ID number 2. And this is a beginning inventory. What we want is to see that what product was that, right? And we're gonna do that here. Instead of product ID, I'm gonna add the combo box here, right? And I want the combo box to get value from another, okay, and then we're gonna add the products, and then the product name, just the product name, the product ID, yeah, okay, and then click, and then click, and then save that to product ID, and then finish. Now when we go to the datasheet view, we're supposed to see product name, right? And then save it, and then let's go ahead and see that in the datasheet view. Now we have that product name, right? We have 100, that's a beginning inventory for this, yeah, for the date created. Right, so we have this product, the beginning inventory is 100, 200, and yeah, and then what we need to do is to update the, yeah, the inventory in stock based on the beginning inventory. And we can, yeah, maybe, so I have here the products, and yeah, you still need to know, update the unit in stock based on the total inventory on transaction details, right? Let's see. Can we clear this? Insert. Okay, that should be let's just trust whether the AI is doing that. So it's basically beginning inventory, give us the formula and give us the purchase. Okay. Set unit in stock is equal to TD, which is TD is transaction detail on product ID. Beginning inventory plus 3D purchases. I mean, why don't we try to run that? Maybe, okay. Let's analyze that later. But it's going to subtract the TD disposal and its disposal. So let's see. What do we have here? Transaction details. And the column is we have disposal, right? Oh, okay. So, okay, since it's going to subtract, we are going to make a positive disposal. Like we have stale product and it's on disposal. It's going to store on the disposal and it's optional anyway. So, yep, maybe this will work. And yeah, we can still calculate how much money are we losing because on the products table we have the unit price, right? So if our boss asks us how much money are we losing, with them we just multiply the units to the okay, to the unit price anyway. So we're going to create another transaction here and we're going to, can we go to the UI and then create it instead, right? So we go to the transaction. That's transaction number 2 and we're going to create the third transaction type will be disposal and to save it, right? It's already saved. If we go back, transaction date table, cannot insert value null into column transaction date. To, let's say, it's okay, we don't mind the date, right? Then when we go back, that should generate the, it actually created transaction number 4, which is auto number. That's auto number. The system is actually doing the numbering for us. So we have disposal, and then what we going to do is we're going to create a disposal transaction. I'm gonna ask the AI to generate use transaction number, generate sample disposal data on the uh, transaction details table. This populate only the disposal field with values not greater than 5. It's random, set greater than positive value should be positive. But we can, but since it's disposal, why don't we just make it negative, right? And then we'll just change this formula. Okay. We are going to create new query, insert that, and generate this. So these are the items that being disposed, probably because they are stale, and we're gonna insert that, and voila. So when we go here in the transaction detail sub for transaction type data sheet, no, transaction type, well, you can create transaction details, um I mean, let's just go ahead and see that in here in the transaction types. Sorry, this is really big. uh, this is a really big demo. Okay, so when we go to transaction, we go back to transaction 1 up to transaction 2, and then we see all the beginning inventory here, right? We can improve that design, so why don't we do it now? Yeah. So I'm not writing any code here, right? It's a full drag and drop from Microsoft Access, which is a lot better than UI thing or AI thing. Okay, and then we'll see how that is working. So if we go to transaction number 4, these are the items that are being disposed. And then we can just create that product ID into something that's so as you can see, the disposal is in here. When we go to the beginning inventory, the value is in this side, right? And you can create the debit credit balance stock card later on. We're gonna do that, but that's for another story. And then we have all we're doing here is the transaction. We'll probably try to put sales here and purchases. Sales will be negative inventory, and then purchases will be positive because you're adding to the inventory, right? And yeah, we have not written any code just yet. Um, so let's not. So this is the datasheet view. I was trying to look for this before. Okay, so we know that transaction ID number 2 is that's the um and then you can apply, and then you can use this like Excel or export that to Excel, and then that transaction number 2 is your beginning inventory, which shows here. That's the beginning inventory, and then we're disposing this because this product are stale, and then you can just these are the products that are being affected. And then when all the things done, we can go ahead and update the inventory, right? Does that make sense? So instead of positive, we're gonna make this plus, and yeah, and it's gonna update our inventory. I'm gonna make this a stored row. Okay, we're going to create a stored procedure, and we are going to trigger that automatically when there's a transaction by creating trigger, and then it updates the inventory if we have any transaction in the transaction details. So that's gonna update our inventory, right? Let's not complicate things right now. I know you how do we add tax and things like that, but that's for another story. Let's not. This is a very big demo already. So, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Again, this is a codeless UI demo and an AI-aided development of SQL Server 2005. We're using Copilot here. And don't be afraid of AI. You still need a lot of brains to build a database. You still need a database expert to create database, although the development's a bit faster because we can create sample data. AI is not going to replace people just for the moment. It just accelerated the development, but they still need our intelligence to be able to do the work. So for now, as you can see, this technology that I'm using, the codeless development, I've not written any code here, but this is amazing, right? And if you can exploit this is far better than AI because we're not writing any code. And it's building the application for me, right? Again, before I go, make sure to create the relationship. I think there's a relationship here. That's why I was able to make it smoothly. There's a trick behind that you need to do before you'll be able to do that is to create a relationship. Yeah, I don't have one, so if you need somebody in a relationship, there's the relationship. So just make sure you create the appropriate relationship. No, I'm just kidding. So just create the appropriate relationship of this SQL table. So this is MS Access. It's linked to SQL Server behind the scene. Watch the previous demo if you want to how to set up those things and AI integrated development. So make sure to establish your relationship before you start dragging table into your Access database to start the codeless development for your inventory. So that's all for now. Again, this has been a very large demo so far. So, yep, my name's Joey. I'm from ORIT, and this is being hosted in my YouTube channel, which is uh, anything goes. So, please like, subscribe, and follow. And we're using SQL Server 2005. You can download that from sqlserver.com, and it's free for evaluation. And then this is the inventory we're trying to design, and then That's a table that was generated to us by the AI. And then if you have a lot of money and if this is helping you, please help and donate to my GCash or to my PayPal. And it will goes a long way for creating more free tutorials. And that's all for now. Have a good night, good morning, or wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you more in the upcoming training. Thank